Hello and welcome to the Centurions Corner, and today we are doing our first episode of the upgrading of the Target exclusive clone troopers. So we've done the reviews, we've got them all out of the way, and now it's time to paint these guys. So as much as they are fantastic, they're only kind of like 20-25 figures at the most for these guys. So the paint applications are not going to be great. So it's down to us to sort of bring out what Hasbro have given us in the sculpt kind of form. So as you can see, I've actually got a list here what I'm going to be doing to the figure. We've got guns, backpack, ammo pouches, belt, pauldron, correct the knees, helmet, neck, elbows. So the whole thing is kind of sounds like it's going to get a re-look at, but it's only small little details really, like the ammo pouches need to be black. The lines on this kind of pauldron in here need to be black. That will actually bring out the actual detail as well. Blue on the elbow pads, the webbing on here, the ammo pouches. I will talk through it as we go through, and I'll do over voice as well. So yeah, hopefully at the end I'm kind of going to go for, obviously not sideshow, but I'm actually using the sideshow as kind of good reference. The only thing I would say that is slightly different is the grey on these parts here. They've actually got it like a very light blue, but I've checked back on Clone Wars and it isn't. The only thing I'm not 100% sure on the back of the helmet here is supposed to be, they've got it as white on the sideshow, but actually I looked through the actual TV series and you can't really see it, unfortunately. So actually I think I might go white because I don't really like it, and we can add those extra details on there as well. In the meantime, I have tried correcting the helmet. You can see it's quite warped, right just there. It's a little bit out of alignment. I've tried and putting it back, but it always comes to this kind of look. So unfortunately he's going to have a bit of a wobbly helmet, but from the front it looks fine. And that's all I care about really. So I guess without that, we'll just get on with the upgrading and see you at the end. So before you get started, don't forget, just remove all the accessories so we can do bits by bits as we go through the tutorial. So first paint we start with is Gunmetal X10, and just apply that to all the guns. You can do a little sloppy job, it doesn't have to be fully covered, because all those little bits that are shine through, it just looks like a little bit of weathering and natural wear. Just apply that to every single gun that we have. Now removing the knees from the actual figure itself, just pull them apart. They're quite sort of pliable, and you'll see a little white tab. Try with the precision knife to go down as best as possible can, and so they actually release from the glue. Now simply taking the X1 black, we're going to just apply it all around on that pauldron. So where it's all the light grey around all the edges, like the in crevices parts there, just fill those in black. Also, if you look at his neck as well, it's actually got the detail of the undersuit and it's not painted. So we just have to extend it out a little bit and paint that on the inside, and then finish off the rest and do the ammo pouch as well. So thank you for joining me on this video. If you do enjoy this content, then please smash that thumbs up. It really helps out the channel and it's very much appreciated. Also, if you subscribe and ding that bell, you'll get notifications, because we've got episodes 2, 3 and 4 where I go back through the Clone War figures and actually give them all an upgrade. And I think I've still got some customs as well to come to the end of the week as well. So it's an action-packed week and you won't miss out an episode if you do so. Anyway, I'll see you at the end of this for a review, and see you later. Bye! Okay, using another gunmetal, which is LP19, just cover the whole backpack, all the blue parts anyway. Leave the other bits that have a gunmetal look on it already, because it's got a nice contrast then between the two. And when we do a black wash and some weathering over the top, it will a nice blend really well and add that extra definition in there of different colours. Carrying on with the same gunmetal, just do those ammo pouches at the front, ones in front of the holster, just the top half, because obviously it sits in a nice little pouch. So grabbing the black again, you want to go over the little back pouches as well. For some reason they've got a blue shade to them, so just finish those off. So next up, I'll use the Winsor Newton paints here just to get the best blue I possibly can. So using a lot more dark than the light, but obviously bringing up the dark with the light. Applying on the elbows, on the side parts there. Also on the notches on the ammo pouches, there's 2 little lines. You want to put blue on there. And also on his backpack, there's another 2 lines that you want to fill in as well. So now using the ocean grey, we're just going to apply that to the webbing on the belt. It's got a line and then 2 lines on the top like black. So don't worry about going over the edge, you can always grab the black paint as well and just identifying those lines and making them more crisp at a later date once the paint is dry. Okay, what you're doing now is the XF50, grabbing the field blue, and we're just filling in those pouches on the front that hold those ammo pouches. Where we have cut off the knee pads, it's entirely up to you if you want to do this part anyway, but with doing so it leaves a little white mark. So what you want to do is just get the black X1 and just fill in and just go over those white parts there so nothing is showing. Using black again, I'm just doing those lines as I said on those webbing belts to really crisp up the lines around on the outside. Okay, so up next is using X11 Chrome Silver. We're just going to go around, do all those little rivet studs on all his pouches. So he's got 2 lots on the back and he's obviously got the one holding down from his pauldron. This is also what we're going to use for weathering a little bit later on. So on the helmet, on that back brow part around on there, it just needs a little bit more sort of darkening up. So I'm using the dark sea grey XF54 just to apply that, just to sort of make it a little bit more darker. Also using the white X2, just going across at the back and getting rid of that horrible kind of beige triangle that goes down the back of his helmet. If your helmet was anything like mine, use the white paint to adjust the black brow at the front just to realign it, and obviously use a bit of black as well to put it in place. Obviously the paint that they use on the visor is a little bit dull, so you can actually apply some X18 gloss black just to sort of brighten it up to give a bit more reflective on that part as well. So now grab some super glue. I use Precision Loctite. It's got a nice little nib on it. On the top of his shin, just apply a little bit of glue there, bring down those knee pads and apply to it. So when he bends his knees, it'll actually stick to the bottom rather than going to the top. Now as the helmet is dry, I'm just filling a little bit of gunmetal on that little tiny little bit of detail. Now all the major details are applied to the figure, we just need to add some weathering to really bring him up to scratch. So I'm just applying some little dark line scratches around, not too much, it's definitely less is more, so you just want to place them in certain areas and then go from there. I think the main feature to this figure is actually bringing the weathering up to scratch, so that's why I'm showing you the whole procedure in the process. So once you're happy with all your little black lines and stuff in there, grab your paintbrush and your black wash and apply over it. I use a sponge because it actually kind of moves the actual weathering around, because I want him to have that dusty blackness grey over the white, so he's not too white and he looks really weathered down. So just going all over it, add a bit of sponge, a little bit more sponge, a little bit more sponge, and just applying it and building it up as you go. So once you're happy and finished with your black wash, you can grab one of these jelly pens. You can actually get them from Amazon, and it's jelly spelt with a G. And it actually applied to the actual figure quite nicely, so you can just put those little bits of detail on there. Or if not, you can actually just use white paint. I just prefer using these because it's got a little bit nice, more precision on where I'm putting it more than paint. Again, like the sideshow figure, they don't have many white scratches on there, so it's definitely, for this figure, less is more. So next up, what you want to do is ask nicely to your sister, your mum, your lover for one of those eyeliner or eyeshadow appliance kind of sort of sponge brush things. Put it into the chrome silver, dab it down a little bit because it adds a great speckled look over the metal and all those other areas as well. So here I'm using the Sideshow Hot Toys kind of figure as a reference. I love the details on these blasters, so I'm just applying it to the Black Series sort of size. Hopefully it kind of transcends over quite nicely, but it just adds it all off and makes that figure fully completed. Also applying to the guns, we're doing the extra little parts there, using that filled blue on the grip, even on the stock, using the chrome silver to put all the little rivets and buttons in there as well, to really bring out the details in these figures. And last but no means least, grab your precision knife and cut that index finger, so now he has another trigger finger. is all finished and weathered and ready to go back on the shelf, and he just looks sensational. I was kind of a bit apprehensive going in with this guy because obviously it's a really sought after figure. He looked great, but he kind of needed to fall in line with the rest of the clones as well. And I think Hasbro have done a fantastic job. It's just a shame that they don't have the money and all those other parts there to really put into the extra paints on those parts there. So heavily influenced by the Sideshow Hot Toys Echo, which when you look at Clone Wars, there's not a lot of reference. They're all running around, you hardly see them and stuff like that. So having Sideshow is brilliant because you can actually look at these big full figures, and I actually watched the YouTube video as well, just making sure I was picking up all the detail as well from still footage. So yeah, what we have done? We have actually applied quite a lot of extra details here using the mounting of paints that we have here. So starting at the top, just a quick reference over, we used Field Blue XF50, and that was literally for those little ammo pouches down here at the front. We used the red X7, and that's literally just for the little light at the back of his fin. The other part is a semi-gloss black X18, and that's to finish off the visor to make it a little bit more glossy in there. I've also done a varnish over the top of that, which was also gloss. Then we have used Ocean Grey 2. So this one here is literally just for all those extra grey parts that we used on the back of the helmet, just to sort of darken those little parts up a bit. I used two gunmetals. One was the LP19. This is a little bit lighter than the other one that I've used, and I've done that one on the backpack. And the other gunmetal is this one here, X10, which I used on the guns. The other gunmetal I also used on the ammo pouches that sit in his kind of snug bits on his belt. Chrome silver, obviously on this part we have used that as more weathering as well, but also the rivets that keep his ammo pouches down. White was just for the actual helmet, just to finish off that white part on the back there, just get rid of that weird sort of grey kind of marking. Dark sea grey, well, this is for the webbing across the on this part here, just keep it in line. And then obviously black, which is all for the ammo pouches as well. Just add a bit of water on it, so you don't want it gloss, you want it a little bit more kind of matted on that as well. And then the other paints that I use, the Winsor & Newton acrylic kind of paints, and they're kind of good. They're good for mixing. I wouldn't actually complete a whole figure using these, but little bits of details are absolutely fine. So I used a lot of this sort of like Winsor blue and then put it in with this other lighter blue, and just to mix it up to get the 501st colour. And then obviously we have updated his guns, looking at that Sideshow as well. Really loved all the different colours and stuff in the gun as well. So we've added the grip and the stock on the back as well, using that Field Blue, and just finished it off weathering and stuff like that. So it actually falls in line with the figure, making it look as sexy as him. So I've done the DC carbine as well, and just finished off the details. But looking a closer look at Echo, we can have a really good ganders. So at the helmet, I have done the visor, you can see the gloss. We've corrected that brow up there because it was just awful before. Adding a white to the actual stem and finish it off with the chrome silver as well. Just kind of makes it a little bit more realistic rather than that horrible plastic that we had. Finishing off the white on the side here and doing a bit of all that around there. Looks okay. And then we have done the silver and the black wash over the backpack to give it that realistic look, and also the silver on the weathering. The blue lines on here, additional details. The blue here is quite a good match with those colours, and then going down, adding the extra little white as well all over the armour, just to get all the markings as well. Black on the actual pauldron, on the ammo pouches and stuff, really brings out the colour that is so more vibrant. But where it really comes to life is down here. These ammo pouches with the gunmetal and the silver over it with the little blue details on there really makes it pop. The actual different colours as well, from the holsters to the ammo pouches to the webbing as well. It stops it from looking too bland down there. And then again, the same on the back as well with those extra details. And then obviously all over with a full black wash and weathering over the figure to finish it off. And yeah, it's looking pretty cool. And then obviously we have done his dual pistols, giving them a bit of silver, a bit of detail on there, same as the Sideshow. And then this side we have cut his finger from away from his fist, so he has got a nice trigger finger, so he can actually hold both on there. Obviously down here as well we've added the black, so it actually brought out the neckline a little bit more, and then not actually done anything to the face because I don't think it needs it. It looks pretty cool. So just putting him over the other side and just putting him to the side, we can actually bring what he used to look like in on the picture and do a side-by-side comparison. And just having a look at those details, you can really notice that it's just those extra bits, the black and stuff like that, just stops him looking so wishy-washy. So thank you so much for joining me on this one. Don't forget, you've got 3 more episodes to come. We've got Anakin, Obi-Wan Kenobi and the Hawk pilot. So don't forget to subscribe and don't miss out on those episodes. You can comment down below. You can follow me on Instagram, which is in the description. And until next time, take care. Bye.
A vast amount of blues, so I had to go to the